So the hard truth is high cash flow hides a lot of sins that get exposed during a recession or low sales.
Curious what business owners are doing to double revenue, have more cash flow, work less hours, and provide a better lifestyle for their family? Dive into the world of business growth that leads to guaranteed wealth every Tuesday with your hosts, Dr. Laura Schwalek and Jerry Kazaya. Grow and get answers to your business and investment questions that provide clarity, move you forward, and inspire you to reach your goals. The topic today is how to recession proof your business. So, before we talk about recession, let's talk about some of the main things that what are you seeing in the economy? Because we know that the economy is cyclical. You might not have lived through a recession yet. You might have only lived through really good times. Jerry, I'd like you to tell us what you see is going on in the economy currently.
Well, you said it, you're spot on. Okay. The truth of it is the economy is cyclical.
Mhm.
You have high times, you have low times, and you have high times, you have low times. And each cycle is based on a matter, a number of things, right? The economists will tell you that the interest rates drive the economy. Well, that's partially true, but I think my experience is it's more based on population demographics, right? The higher the number of people you have that are consuming high ticket items, right? Like baby boomers were the rage buying all the houses
The
post
houses, cars.
post World War II. Absolutely. It exploded the economy. We were the biggest economy on the planet for generation, right? And then now you have the following group is not purchasing the big items anymore. I
So
mean,
the millennials is a large group. It's a huge, huge population. They're
yes,
just not buying the big ticket items yet.
not yet. They will at some point. They will,
Mhm.
but they haven't done it yet. And so there's this lag. You're going to experience a lag, right? So some of the economists today are predicting, we're still going to have a recession in 2023. Look at Q2 for something, and now I read this morning. Oh, now they're predicting either no recession in 23 and it will be postponed to 2024, or it will be a very soft recession, a soft landing, as they call it, because the Fed was doing its job. Well, the Fed is the one that's causing the economy to come to a screeching halt, right? You can't go from near 0% interest rates on consumable products to raising it to, we were just quoted, we were looking for a client that 9% interest purchasing a new vehicle. You don't go from 0% to 9 or 10% interest without causing people to have a hiccup and go, wait a minute. I
Well,
mean, this is at the end of the day,
th-
we're a consumer society.
but that's the purpose of the Fed is to raise and lower interest rates to help keep the market stable, to help keep interest rates from getting out of control. And
That's their
that's,
belief.
well,
Yes, that's their
and
belief.
you think it's
I
population.
mean, Janet Yellen even came out and said she has no concept of how to fix this economy. I mean, now this is the woman who ran the Fed for how many years, and she has no concept. Yeah, okay, the tail is wagging the dog. Don't get caught up in all the drama. The truth of it is, what needs to happen is you need to be really this year be prepared for anything.
Okay, so Jerry, you have lived through in business several recessions. So
Oh yeah.
can you tell us, because there was a huge real estate bust in 2008, and then there was 9/11 in 2001. Can you tell us
Well,
your
there
experience?
were several in between, and
Mhm.
then there's many before that.
Those
You
are the
know,
two that I think affected you the most. So can you tell us, especially with real estate, because a lot of people are looking towards real estate as an opportunity this coming next year in 2023 and 2024. So what did you experience?
so in 2007, 2008, 2009, um, that's when I was personally $5 million upside down. I owed $5 million more than what my entire estate was worth.
Hmm.
And everybody, all of my bankers, my accountants, everyone was saying, you need to declare. My response was, declare what? What am I going to declare? They said, oh, you need to declare bankruptcy. Oh, no, no, no. That was my signature on the line. I did that. I'm going to find a way to pay it back. And at one point, I reached out to an investor who purchased the type of property that I owned at the time, and I called him up and I said, hey, I want you to come out and actually put a number on this project that I own, this commercial property. And it took him almost a month to get back to me. It was 3 weeks. And I'm telling you, I was upside down. We were paying $45,000 a month principal and interest to the banks, plus property tax, plus insurance, plus utilities, and then there's the payroll for the business on top of it. So it was some very stressful, high intense.
And your tenants moved out, your biggest tenants,
Yeah,
right?
we lost a lot of tenants because of the economy, absolutely, and so that added more pressure onto me, and so I called this guy and said, "Come out and give me a bid." Took him almost a month. And he came back and said, I'm not going to embarrass you with the offer that I would make on your property. He said it wouldn't even cover that loan that you have on that project. He goes, you are so far upside down. The only thing I can recommend you to do is just hang on till the cycle clears. And honestly, that was the best thing I could have done. It was the best advice anybody could give me. And I persevered. I struggled. I busted my
Tail?
that's the word. But we made it work, right? I mean, and thank God today, that project, I would have been willing to sell it for right at $1 million, and today it's worth north of 15. So it would have been a bad thing for me to do long term, but it was a very stressful thing for me to do live, right? Another thing and I'm going to call it the recession, but in 2001.
Hold on a second. Before you do that, you need to know that part of the reason why the banks encouraged him to declare bankruptcy,
Oh, they were going to make a shit ton of money.
they were going to make a heck of a lot of money. So be really careful, like follow the money, really. Be very careful. If you have a property that you are suffering with, do what you can to get through and keep it rather than declaring
Yeah,
bankruptcy.
the reality of it is it's a cycle.
Mhm.
It's a cycle. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, and at the worst, it'll take 3 years. Okay, but I've never seen anything I mean, in my lifetime, last longer than 3 years, where you're in a we're going to call it. They called it the Great Recession. Well, what's the difference between a recession and a depression? A depression is your neighbor is you lost your job, and a recession is when your neighbor lost a job, right? It is not, it is not for the faint of heart. Either time is tough, but when you are out of work and your cash flow hurts, that's when you get depressed. So that's my definition of it
Okay, so
anyway.
now tell us about 2001. 2001, the Twin Towers came down,
Oh,
9/11,
yeah.
and what I remember is that vehicle sales, it did they ever have 0% financing before 9/11?
Well, no, but the whole world stopped. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to remember in 2000, in September 11, 2001, after the 8:30 and 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock experience, and I say 8:30 because I believe it was 8:30 hour Central Time, right? But after the planes hit the towers, like everything stopped. Airplanes were ordered to land immediately. People were struck. They were stuck. They were stranded. There were no rental cars available because the first people getting off the planes scrambled to get rental cars, and they snapped.
Everyone was glued to the
Yeah,
TV. Like, there was nothing that like, the phones were not ringing at all.
yeah, we still don't have television at our house, but we didn't have TV back then either. And I called Laura up and I said, "You need to get to the neighbor's house and watch the news." And so of course she went over there, and the whole world did exactly that. We stopped everything and watched the news. We watched the replays of the towers and the smoke. And so what ended up happening, of course, there like weeks went by and our business phones were not ringing. Like we
The whole economy came to a screeching halt.
you'd pick up the phone just to make sure that you had dial tone, right? No one cut the phone lines. Okay, we're still there. But I mean, honestly, the phones did not ring for weeks. And then when they started to come back to life, the auto manufacturers got with the banks and they got with the president, and they worked out a deal, and they said, okay, we're going to offer 0% financing.
Mm.
And so on the surface, that's a beautiful thing, because what's it going to do? It's going to spur people into purchasing large ticket items, right?
People held on to their money because they weren't sure what, there was so much uncertainty. They didn't know what was going to happen next.
Oh, the restaurants were
So,
completely empty.
yeah, so something had to happen and it had to be big ticket items. And that's why they did the 0% financing with vehicles.
And they brought out 0% financing, and we would have people come into the shop with a vehicle that needed transmission rebuild. It was going to cost $1,500, and they said, hey, we love you, but we're going to take that $1,500, we're going to put it as a down payment on a new vehicle, and I'm going to get a 3-year 36,000-mile warranty. So I'm going to have less car payments. My car payments will actually went down because the interest rate went to zero. And they said, we're going to have a 3-year warranty, and I'm not even going to have to worry about you for 3 years. And just like that, in October and November of 2001, I lost 40% of the business,
40% of
40% of
your
my
customers
customers,
for
40%
3 years
for three
because their
years.
warranty was at least a 3-year.
3-year, 36,000 mile.
Yeah.
And again, nothing that we certainly didn't create this problem at all, right? There was nothing we did. It's not like, oh,
Was not a lack of customer service or lack of marketing or lack of know-how or lack of expertise. It was just the economy
it's something that happened on a
did.
global basis,
Yeah.
and it affects the small business owner more so than a large corporate, Fortune 500 companies, right? And that's when I learned how to market. That's when I learned how to get business into the shop that had no idea who we were. So we literally, in 2001, I became a marketing expert.
And one of the biggest things, especially if a business is suffering, like we get calls and emails all the time. I need more clients. I need more clients. Well, sometimes you just have to get down to what we call a grassroots level and go out and meet people. Go out and meet people. Go to the chambers of commerce. Go to the business networking events. Go and meet people because people will do business with who they know, like, and trust.
True.
And
And
if they know you, they're more likely to do business with you than just looking on Google and just only reading the reviews.
yes, and I want to throw one caveat in there. Just because you think that your answer is a lack of sales, when you turn on the faucets
Mm.
and you create this amazing rush of new customers, you must be careful, because high sales can actually cause your business to collapse. Ask me how I know.
Mhm.
That'll be one of the future topics.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so let's get to this year, 2023. Happy
Oh,
New Year.
Happy New Year.
So, yeah, 2023. I was reading this morning in the Wall Street Breakfast that there's different opinions about what's going to happen. Some people think there's going to be a soft landing. Some people think that it's going to be a really hard bounce. Uh,
Some people think it's going to be a big crash,
and
and some people think nothing's going to happen for a year.
and that all three economies, the US, China, and the EU, the biggest economies of the world, are all going to be in recession at the same time. So this is like looking at the big picture. Now let's kind of narrow and focus in on what's happening here in the United States. What do you see, Jerry?
I see the lights from the cameras.
Yeah, whatever. Seriously.
I think you're going to see probably Q2 or Q3 of 23. You're going to see things come to a much greater halt. I think interest rates are going to continue to climb. Powell with the Fed has indicated that they're not taking the foot off the gas yet. They're not even looking at a brake pedal as far as raising interest rates. And I know from my past, from my history, from the way I purchase things, interest rates are a huge stopping point for a lot of folks, right? When you look at the price of a home, the mortgages has doubled in the
Mhm.
last few months because of interest rates hike. People can't afford, they used to be able to go out and buy a half a million or 600, 700, $800,000 house. And today that means they can buy a 250, 300, $400,000 house,
Hmm.
right? So it has curtailed a lot of the economy already, and it's going to continue to worsen. Uh, Vol, uh, Honda Honda sales in 22 were down 33% compared to 2021. Imagine a huge corporation, Honda. Honda makes great cars, and their sales were down a third. That's not sustainable.
And already in the new home sector, the number of what's the percentage of people they put their earnest money down on a new home and then they back away from the deal. They're willing to lose their earnest money
Mhm.
because they cannot afford the new interest rate that's going to happen.
Well, that number changes depending on the area and the city. I know that the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, the new homes that were under contract have been canceled 25%.
Hmm.
That means 25% of the new home owners or buyers have canceled the deal, lost their money. They lost their earnest money that they put down with the realtor. But more importantly, the realtor lost the sale. And the banks now are limiting the line of credit for all the home builders, which means the builders are reaching out to subprime markets already looking
So that
for
would be like a hard money lender, a subprime.
they can't go to the banks,
Yeah,
right?
they have to, and they're so as a result, they are being charged a higher interest rate as well.
And that's just to complete the homes that were under contract
Hmm.
and no longer are. So you've got home builders that are teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. We've also noticed that the REITs, the real estate investment trusts that are publicly traded, are dumping properties right now. Home prices have fallen significantly. It's going to continue to fall. The last 4 months, homes have fallen in Dallas Fort Worth 20%. So we know for a fact that the economy is slowing down. We know for a fact that it's affecting the housing prices. We know that it's affecting automobile sales. It's
And
going to continue for at least the next 6 months.
and it's been going on. It's been going on. Look at all of the job layoffs in the big companies. Google, Twitter, Facebook. It's not just that Elon Musk bought the company. They had too many people. So the the economy has been in a recession. We're just seeing the lag happening now. It's
Definitely,
happening more for the everyday person.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so here's an opportunity for you though. These are things to look out for because if you've been really diligent and you've been a good steward of your money, then you have money in savings and you may be able to take advantage of an opportunity to buy some commercial real estate for your business or
Or buy another business.
or buy another business or
Right.
buy a second home that you can then rent out. There's lots of opportunity coming up.
Yeah, and I would recommend that if you're looking at doing something along the lines of Verbo or Airbnb, that you check your local ordinances. I know that
Yeah.
our city where we live in is currently looking at limiting short-term rentals. So, and there's a lot of places that have cut it out. You
They've
can't do
changed
that.
the laws, so
Yeah.
just be aware of that.
Yeah, and you don't want to spend a $500,000 on a second house or $100,000 for that matter on a second house and find out you can't rent the darn thing if that was your intent.
Well, that's short-term rentals. You can probably still do long-term rentals. We have one of our clients had a very successful VRBO, and he has now changed it to a long. It was a threeplex, and he's changed it all to long-term rentals.
Yep.
So he's still doing well. So sometimes you just have to pivot.
I love that pivot part.
Yeah, I love that pivot. Okay, so what can you do to recession-proof your business?
The first thing I'd tell you to do is become an excellent student of marketing.
Yes.
Become the best marketer that you can be. Look, here's a little reality check. It's a secret. Can we tell them?
Yeah. So.
McDonald's doesn't have the best food. Just saying. But they have the best marketing, right? And so real estate, McDonald's is in the real estate business. They're not in the food business as per se, and yet they are the largest restaurant in the world. and they don't have the best food. It's all about the marketing. So take a look at your marketing, see what you're doing that could be improved.
Yeah, definitely. So, in addition to marketing, making sure that you have a really good business structure, that your plan is a business that has reoccurring revenue so that you're not consistently having to go out and hunt the big jobs. We talked about this last time or one of the previous episodes. Make sure that
Yeah.
your business has reoccurring revenue, like the auto shop that Jerry owns. People have to have oil changes. They have to have their brake service. They bring their vehicles back time and time again. We have a gentleman that has a window washing business. Well, people have to, in certain climates, wash their windows 2 to 3 times a year. It's something that's reoccurring. He knows it's going to happen. He knows when his busy time is. You know when your busy time is, take advantage of that. Make sure that you take advantage of that.
Yeah. Hiring and keeping superstar employees.
Now is the time because there's a lot of people getting laid off. You can change out your non-performing people and don't be afraid to fire people. Just make sure you document it and hire the superstars. Seriously. So one of my marketing gurus, he said you might have heard of the oh, I don't remember the name of it now right now, but it's the index of people who will do business with a company. And this company that he was working with had a very low index. They're like people just did not want to do business with them. But who has a high index was Amazon and Nordstrom and Apple,
Costco.
Costco. And so he said, well, find somebody that used to work at one of those companies to manage your marketing, to manage not just your marketing, but your customer service, because they are really trained in customer service. So this is a really huge opportunity to get some really good quality talent.
Yeah, that pendulum has swung as well, right? We went through during the entire COVID time, people were quietly resigning and quitting and walking off the jobs and whatnot. And now, the the hardest hit industry was the restaurant business
Oh, yeah.
during COVID. And you know what's the fastest growing industry right now? The restaurant business. People are flocking back to the restaurant business because of increased wages, better working conditions, and the fact that no one else is hiring. So there are a huge number of people out there, good people looking for a good company to work for.
Make sure that you have consistent quality of product, consistent quality of service. These are two of the biggest things that you can do to recession proof your business. And consistent, along with consistent customer service, is making people feel special. When you make people feel special, they will do business with you. It's like making sure that you underpromise yet overdeliver, or promise the world and then give even more. Get, have an even better customer service experience than what they might be expecting.
And to fully recession proof your business, keep doing what you're doing and increase it by at least 50%.
Hmm.
So if you're making 10 phone calls a day, cold call phone calls, make it 15. Do 20 if you can. If you can see more people, if you can welcome more people, your business will not be affected by the recession unless you consider increased sales as being affected by this upcoming recession.
And you can do that too. So
Yeah,
the
our business is up 40%. So we know that it works.
one of the things that's also really, really important is what's going on between here and here. What's happening between your ears? Are you listening to the news and getting caught up in the, oh, we're having a recession. Oh, business is down. Or are you saying to yourself, you know what? This is the time of opportunity. This is the time when we can really hone our marketing, hone our systems, hone our customer service experience. This is the time that we can roll out a new product to see how it does. How does it fly? This is the time that we can get into grassroots marketing and meet people and create community because people want community. But they've been holed up from COVID. Now people are going out. How can you create a community? There's so much opportunity here. Don't get caught up in the news and all the negativity.
Yeah, just remember what Warren Buffett said. When the tide goes out, everyone can see who's been swimming naked.
Yeah.
So don't be swimming naked. Keep doing what you need to do and make this a great year.
And so that brings us to the hard truth. And the hard truth is
The hard
that,
truth is high cash flow hides a lot of sins that get exposed in a recession.
yeah. And so look at your marketing. So here's the question. Here's the question. We always end every episode with a question.
Uh-oh.
What can you do to recession proof your business? What can you tighten up in your business so that you are not swimming naked? Is it marketing? Is it expenses? Is it systems? Is it your customer service? Is it that you need to there's somebody on your team that you know needs to go, or maybe you're unwilling to look at. Maybe they are a friend, maybe they're a relative. Maybe your customers in their reviews are not giving you the best reviews and they might be naming someone. It's time for that person to go and time for you to get really, really good talent in there. Remember to type your answers in the chat box below or the comment section. Reach out to us with your questions. Anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to say about interest rates?
Don't worry about it. They swing. They go up and down. You'll get used to the higher interest rate.
You'll figure it out.
We had the lowest interest rates in history. So, it's just part of the cycle. Relax and ride with it.
When you moved to Dallas in 1980,
1980.
what were the interest rates back then? What were the banks charging?
Oh my God. I bought down my mortgage. I bought a 30-year mortgage and I was paying 11 and 7/8 after
Oh,
buying it down 4 points. So normally it should have been about 15 and 7/8. They were doing 18% interest on some things. You were getting paid, 14% at the banks. It was a golden time if you wanted to invest money into interest producing items, but it was a terrible time to be buying a house.
okay. Well, but that's the thing. 15%, 18% interest, that was the norm back
Yeah,
then.
sure
And
was.
so people then figured it out, and again they'll figure it out this time too, and so will you. Thank you for your questions. We really appreciate them. And if you're interested, join us in one of our focus groups, and we can really help you dive into your business and help you through 2023.
Bye, everybody.
See ya. Grow and get answers to your business and investment questions that provide clarity, move you forward, and inspire you to reach your goals. Share the show and connect with us at BBMMUSA.com to submit questions and learn more. That's BBMMUSA.com.